Like this video and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or this spider will be crawling around your bed while you sleep. To start the video, we have an elf on an airplane. These kids were on a mission to catch elf on a shelf as part of their Christmas celebration. They were hoping to meet the elf at the Christmas tree and see it with their own eyes, but it had other plans and stay around as 2 hours later, the elf had a random flying candy-filled toy airplane. So let's check it out. We have the zipline elf. Elves are assistants to the most secretive and elusive man in the entire world, but these elves are not doing a good job staying unnoticed, moving unspotted by security cameras. Santa must really have some kind of punishment for these reckless elves who aren't taking their job seriously. This elf is about to hop on the shelf and on the zipline that was set up in the kitchen, and is about to slide a zipline. Let's check it out. The cat. This cheerful and adorable elf was discovered playing in the house and being watched by the cat. After climbing stairs, the elf balances itself high up the rare railing before sliding down. The landing probably hurt, so he is going to try it again with a pillow. Fortunately, the cat was super patient with this little elf and no harm was done to it. We have 100 elves. When this girl was sleeping one night, she woke up to strange noises coming from the living room. So she rushed downstairs to see what was going on, only to find herself in the middle of hundreds of elves. It's literally insane, and her elf shelf was also present in the middle of the gathering. So maybe it invited its friends for a party or something like that. I'm really curious about what they were talking about. Maybe they were just having fun, or is there a chance they were planning something bad? Well, it's up to you to decide, so make sure you keep on watching until the end.
Oh my gosh. It is lots of elf on the shelf. I mean, lots of them.
We have the living elf. These elves must be used to being captured on camera, and they should be aware by now that people know they can come to life. And back in the day, every elf that was captured moving on camera would get fired. But maybe this year Santa has changed the North Pole laws or something, because this elf was sitting with his face turned away from the camera, when out of nowhere, it just turned around and looked straight into it. It's just insane. So, let's check it out. Elf swinging on a zip line. Next up at number 9, we have an elf swinging on a zip line. So, elves actually have a pretty good time with their magic and sometimes use it for fun, like this elf right here, who was caught by the family security cameras having a really good time with a zip line it made using magic. It seems really fun being an elf on the shelf because you could do all sorts of cool magical stuff. So, let's check it out. Number 8. Mischievous Elf. We have the Mischievous Elf. This elf played so many pranks on his family, and you're in for an adventure. In the first few seconds of the video, the elf starts things off by sliding down the stairs and onto the fire truck toy. Then it drives through the family's living room, and the lights begin to rapidly turn off and on. But that's not the craziest part. The elf goes on to climb up on top of the fireplace and, well, unhooks the family socks. This elf is just so mischievous, but because of that, we have this great clip to show you, so make sure you keep on watching until the end.
And that's it for the video. Share us your thoughts upon watching Elf on the Shelf get caught.
Number 7. Elf with a candy cane. We have an elf with a candy cane. In this clip, the elf was caught moving its eyes, and it's very rare to see an elf on the shelf moving its eyes, so it's a super special case. The person who took this video hung a candy stick in the elf's little hand, then they must have looked away or something, because elves don't move at all if someone is looking at them. At that point, you can see the elf moving its eyes, and it's absolutely nuts, so let's take a look. Number 6. Bedtime Elf. We have Bedtime Elf. This little girl was probably dreaming of Santa's gifts as she slept deeply, but this camera footage spotted an elf peeking over at the girl and trying to come over and maybe bless her with nice dreams. You can even see the elf smiling towards the end. Number 5. The Kitchen Elf. We have the Kitchen Elf. This one is one of the craziest clips proving that elves on the shelf exist. So, the camera was placed in the kitchen and was well positioned to see the elf move from its place to the sink. At first, you will wonder what the elf wants as it dances around the tap, but your questions are answered right now when the elf turns the water on and the tap starts running. It keeps causing chaos until it notices there's a hidden security camera recording his crimes, so the elf thinks quickly and goes straight to the camera to turn it off and delete the evidence. Guys, just see it for yourself. Number 4. Very young boy. We have a very young boy. In this clip, one kid decided to capture the elf on the shelf moving inside his home. This is the first time this child has ever owned an elf on the shelf, so he was super excited and was really hyped to record it moving. So, he turned on the camera at midnight and succeeded. The boy captured the elf peeking around the corner to check if the hallway is free to make an escape, and then uses his magical powers for something crazy at the end of the clip. So, make sure to keep on watching.
We got an elf on the shelf moving. It's the first time we've ever had an elf on the shelf, and it's just amazing.
Can you see him? He's popped up right in that corner. He's confused. He's checking his card. He goes there. He messed up the kitchen a little bit by putting cups all over there.
We don't know what's inside the cup. We know the elf is inside the cup.
Number 3. Patrol Elf. We have the Patrol Elf. The elf on the shelf phenomenon is a Christmas tradition in which elves go around the neighborhood to spy on children and see if they are being good or bad. This elf had no idea he was being watched by a drone camera as he went around the town. Elves are working really hard. Just take a look. Number 2. Elf driving a Lamborghini. We have an elf driving a Lamborghini. So similar to the last clip, this one shows off the elves driving a super expensive sports car. It's just crazy to think they know how to drive, but it shows how good Santa is teaching them. Number 1. The Mystery Black Elf. We have the Mystery Black Elf. Elves on the shelf usually wear red clothes, but there are actually clothes that have other colors like green or even black, which is the rarest. Apparently, they have the strongest magical powers, and in this clip, the Black Elf was caught trying to steal Skittles from the kitchen counter. The family put a bag of Skittles right in front of the camera, hoping the elf would fall for the bait. The elf had problems opening the door, but eventually reached the Skittles and got caught by the person behind the camera. However, the elf just teleported out of his hand and escaped the dangerous situation. For the first clip, we have this 13-year-old boy who decided he wanted to record the elf on the shelf moving. So, he set up a camera pointing directly at the elf sitting on the kitchen counter. The footage is shown in the clip, which is literally insane and even slightly creepy, because these elves can actually move their faces and even speak. Perhaps this is a newer generation of elves that Santa has created. Anyway, make sure you keep on watching because you definitely don't want to skip this.
Snowball toss. My favorite game. I especially love to play this game around Christmas.
Elf on the sink. Next up, we have an elf on the sink. In this insane clip, the elf on the shelf was caught red-handed carrying itself in the kitchen. The elf takes its time moving between the dishes, turning on the faucet, and even chills for a brief moment. At the end, it takes up into the air and flies straight into the camera. Elves on the stairs. We have elves on the stairs. It shows 3 to 4 elves and a Spider-Man toy sitting on an empty strawberry carton while a super rare black elf is pushing them from behind until the carton starts sliding down the stairs as if it was a sled. It looks super fun, but they end up dashing terribly at the bottom of the staircase. These elves are supposed to be super naughty because they're investigating the children to see if they're acting good enough to get the gifts from Santa. But who's looking over the elves? If someone would send that clip to Santa, these elves would definitely get fired. So let's check it out. Elf on the counter. Next up at number 12, we have an elf on the counter. This one is a classic elf on the shelf video recorded on a normal day before Christmas, when suddenly the security cameras capture this elf on the shelf wandering around the kitchen counter late at night. Everything looks normal at first when the elf suddenly slips up and falls down, but it quickly picks itself up and continues its night duty. Elf on a chimney. At number 11, we have an elf on a chimney. As you might know, elves on the shelf move around only during the night, so they aren't seen by humans. But this clip shows something different because it proves that some elves also move during the day and even scare children in broad daylight. Just look at this elf simply chilling by the fireplace. It's one of the stranger clips because it's super weird to see an elf moving in broad daylight. So keep on watching.
Oh my gosh, you guys' elf is moving. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. Are you guys gonna tell your friends? They won't believe you. Nobody will ever believe you.
Elf scares dad. We have an elf scaring dad. So 2 weeks before Christmas, this dad caught their elf on the shelf just flying in the middle of the video he was recording. Actually, this dad and his family have a verified elf on the shelf YouTube channel, and they have captured their elf moving a few times. So it must be a real video.
Download a free audiobook with your 30-day trial.
What you're seeing has happened for real. It's about to get even crazier, so make sure you keep on watching until the end.
flight on its way to the North Pole. Even if I can stay up all night, I will get this camera set up. And oh my gosh! Did you see that? Is that on film? Did you see that, honey? It flew!
We have hungry elves. In this clip, the elves are going straight to the kitchen cupboard to get some snacks. Honestly, you'll have to give them credit just for finding where all the good stuff is stored, so you can't even blame them for stealing food. In this clip, the elves are caught by a security camera taking some sweets, so let's check it out. Creepy elf. We have a creepy elf. This one is really spooky because these guys were trying to raise their elf on the shelf for entertainment. This is something you should never think about doing, and we all know you shouldn't bother elves, let alone summon them when they're not even ready. However, the magic worked, and despite being played in the middle of the bedroom, the elf was still caught somewhere before the bed, meaning it moved. Guys, just take a look. We have a young kid, so this little child wanted to catch an elf on the shelf, but it takes a weird turn because not even the kid can figure out what the elf is doing. In the previous clips, everyone could tell what the elves were doing, such as teleporting to Santa or just having fun. But in this one, the elf does nothing at all, and it's just a super weird fellow. So let's check it out. We have the fidget spinner elf. Do you remember the trend a few years ago where everyone around the world was going crazy about these fidget spinner toys? Well, it seems that elves on the shelf also like them, because this clip shows one of the elves playing with 3 of them at once. Just keep on watching to see what he does at the end. We have an elf having fun. So this one family had several encounters with their elf on the shelf moving and even speaking. In this clip, the elf is riding a miniature train around the Christmas tree, and it's just super cute. So you definitely don't want to miss this. We have an elf with magical powers. This shows an elf who proves its powerful abilities to sneak inside the kitchen to get its favorite treat. If you don't know, every elf on the shelf has a huge sweet tooth, so their diet is just cinnamon, rock sweets, and obviously Skittles. As you'll see, this elf has the power to lift this massive box to the top shelf and grab some candy. So keep on watching.
Skittles, my favorite.
We have the Wandering Elf. This clip is a classic example of an elf on the shelf moving. So, even though the family had left the elf on the shelf alone in the kitchen while they were gone, they were still able to catch him in action thanks to hidden security cameras. Guys, just take a look at wandering around. We have the classic elf. The owner of this clip wants us to share this video before the government sees it and decides to ban it, because officially, elves on the shelf are just toys and can't come alive. Anyway, it's just another elf on the shelf moving while the family is sleeping, and we can agree that while this is nothing new, moving elf is always amazing to watch. So, let's see how this one goes. We have the elf on a jar. This clip is showing an elf on the shelf with a mason jar. So, this happened a few years back in December, a few weeks before Christmas, and this family recorded an elf getting stuck in a jar, but they promised to everyone that they didn't trap the elf there themselves. Well, it could have been that it was a young elf who didn't know how to use its magic powers and ended up teleporting into a jar by mistake. It remained trapped for a very long time, but eventually it used its magic powers to again escape to freedom. So, let's check it out. We have security cameras that kept the elf on the shelf moving. So, this dad set up security cameras in his kid's room to capture the elf, and they were checking out the footage, which is just insane, and I can't believe it was real. Do you think the elf on the shelf was moving around on camera, or is this a fake clip? The elf on the shelf doesn't want to be seen moving when people are around, but in this case, it did start moving while on camera. That's how you could fake this, but you could see an elf on the shelf moving out of the box, jumping out of the box, and just roaming all over the room, and it's absolutely nuts, so keep on watching. We have elves teleporting multiple times, so if you're interested in elves on the shelf, you know that their most used magic trick is teleporting, which means they can travel dozens of feet in just a blink. These elves were caught around 4 in the morning, but the owner of this footage is claiming that he has seen many elves teleporting back and forth, most likely to report to Santa about all the good and bad behavior they have seen. Keep in mind that to capture elves using magic and teleporting, you need the best recording equipment money can buy, because normal cameras can't capture magical powers. We have the bored elf. So this little kid pranking his elf on the shelf while leaving the room so the elf would trick and think that no one is watching him and he could turn alive. But little did he know that there were hidden cameras recording his actions. So you just have to see what the elf decides to do at the end of this clip.
Invest as little as €1 in the world's leading companies. Start now with trading 2-on-2 and 0 commission.
We have the Halloween elf. This video was recorded last year just before Halloween, and apparently this elf decided he would come and greet his family early, even before Christmas. We all know that elves have strong magical powers. That's why it's no surprise that this elf magically transported itself inside the pumpkin and even lit up the lights. We have 2 elves. So, this mom set up some security cameras at the start of December because she knew that her children's elves on the shelf like to roam around the house and do some bad stuff. In this clip, you can see the characters scouting around the house late at night, but they do something crazy at the end, so keep on watching. We have an elf on the shelf flying and jumping. This clip shows an unexpected moment of an elf moving all over the place in the middle of the night. It happened the very next day when kids told their dad that something weird is happening during the night. So, this dad installed security cameras in his kid's room. What we can all learn from this clip is that parents should listen to their children, especially when they're reporting stuff related to magic. We have a disappearing elf. So, this kid was introducing this elf on the shelf named Jingle, and later he leaves the elf in front of the camera in an attempt to capture it moving on video. Naturally, the elf comes alive the moment the kid left the room and vanishes into thin air. The kid gets super lucky to capture the clip because many elves know that cameras can record them and embarrass their owners by not moving even after no one is around. We have an unbothered elf. This family had more and more suspicions about their elf on the shelf because they have inside their home during the night. To figure it out, they dimmed the lights to trick the elf into thinking they were asleep. As you will see, the elf believed no one is awake and moved its head in a really creepy way. So, let's check it out. We have a naughty elf getting caught. This elf on the shelf decided to go for the family's Christmas tree and ends up getting captured by the family's security cameras. So let's take a look at how this elf gets his way to the top of the Christmas tree. It's just insane because the elf is so little and the Christmas tree is so tall. But as you'll see, it gets to the top without any problems. We have an elf on a chimney. As you might know, elves on the shelf move around only during the night, not seen by humans. But this clip shows something different because it proves that some elves also move during the day and even scare children in broad daylight. Just look at this. We have the dabbing elf. Some elves on the shelf are super funny, like this one. It was chilling on a Christmas tree when it looked straight into the camera and raised its hand to a dabbing position. It's just insane and makes you think whether it's something Santa is teaching the elves or if it's just something the elf has seen the kids do so many times that it wanted to try it myself. we have a 13-year-old boy, so he decided that he wants to record the elf on the shelf moving, and sees a camera pointing directly at the elf sitting on the kitchen counter. Footage he got is shown in the clip, which is literally insane and even slightly creepy, because these elves can actually move their faces and speak. Perhaps this is a newer generation of elves that Santa has created. Well, poo. I'm not getting it, and that's not sounding crazy smart, because this guy decided to prank their elf on the shelf by leaving some chocolate-covered raisins in a jar to kind of trick the elf into eating it. But the most insane thing ends up happening, so make sure to stick around and see it for yourself.
They were sitting on the jar. How are they getting the raisins? Those weren't raisins. His elf poop.
We have the Roberts family. They are experts at checking their child elf and took this video during the 2018 holiday season. In this clip, you can see their elf doing bad things while the family is sleeping. It's really crazy to see because it was also caught not only moving but seeing a zip line he made using magic. The elf was just having a blast flying back and forth on the zip line while watching Elf on the Shelf cartoons on TV. I mean, we can't blame him. He was probably missing his elf, but he's more normal.
That's the wrong way to jump. I need something to motivate me.
We have two cheeky elves. These elves are so incredible and were recorded by a camera being just absolutely adorable. One of them appears to be super shy, but sometimes smiles a bit, and then you can see the other one backs moving. Elves are truly wonderful creatures, so remember to behave well, and not just with your elves, but also with your friends, family, and even strangers. Elf on the Birdcage. Coming straight in at 7, we have a clip of Mabel Sporella, who is one of the most well-known elf catchers in the world. She has got many elves moving around her home and causing problems, like stealing cookies at night or even messing with her cat. In this clip, she caught an elf trying to break her birdcage, and it's just insane. So keep on watching to see how it ends.
I cannot believe what I found. Yep. They are inside this little bird cage.
Number 9. Kid just elf on the shelf flying and moving. Next up at number 9, we have a clip of a kid catching an elf on the shelf moving and even flying all around the house. Now, this young child was basically telling his father that he did not believe in the elf on the shelf, and we can't blame him because many people do not believe in the existence of the elf on the shelf. But I have personally seen my elf in the night, so I'm true. Anyway, the kid was telling his father that he does not believe the elf when it started moving and even flying all over the place. This is just insane. You definitely don't want to miss it.
What is it?
The mystery black elf. At number 8, we have a clip of the mystery black elf. So, elf on the shelf typically comes in red clothes, but there are other colors like green and black, which is their wrist. Apparently, they have the strongest powers, and in this clip, the black elf was trying to, but eventually number 6 clicks to one spot, and the next morning it would be found in another place like around home. If you want to catch an elf, make sure to listen closely to what I'm about to say, because this mom shows the best tricks and tips for catching the elf. So basically, at first, she shows us that the elf is silently on the Christmas tree, and then proceeds to show us what seems to be the elf's door to the North Pole, which teleports it back to Santa Claus. That's the spot where you have to put your camera at, because the elf will probably be trying to go back to Santa. So, the next morning, she sets up 2 cameras in the living room and the kitchen, and as expected, the elf goes down the tree, and, you guessed it, to the little door. Number 6. Young kid catches an elf. At number 6, we have a clip of this little child who wanted to catch an elf on a shelf, but it takes a weird turn because not even the kid can figure out what the elf is doing. In the previous clips, everyone could tell what the elves were doing, such as teleporting to Santa or just having fun, but in this one, the elf does nothing at all. Next up at number 5, we have a clip showing an elf, and this family ended up teleporting elf. When this little elf was seen dancing, the song Here Comes Santa Claus was playing in the background. It looks super fun, and the elf on the shelf is raising its small arms in the air and dancing around the house. But before doing anything like that, it made sure that no one is watching, and when the song stops playing, the elf goes back to its cozy spot under the Christmas tree. Escape from the basement. Next up at number 3, we have a clip of this guy who noticed that his elf on the shelf had escaped from the basement during the night when everyone was sleeping. He was completely taken aback, and just 5 days before Christmas, the elf returned in front of the house because the family apparently had forgotten about the little elf in their basement. The elf on the shelf went out of his way to greet them, but the dad used it as an opportunity to catch the elf by placing security cameras all over the home. But it gets even crazier because another elf came from the basement and met up with the first elf. They turned off the camera and took revenge on the family. So, always remember to be nice to your elves and don't forget them in cold and dark places like basements. Number 2. Elf on a Shelf gets featured on local news. At number 2, we have a clip of a TV news report that shows one elf on the shelf doing all sorts of crazy stuff on camera. So, you're not supposed to see an elf with your own 2 eyes because apparently the elves can lose their magical powers if that happens. But, if you record them on camera, nothing bad ends up happening to them. So, let's keep watching this chaos. Number 1. The Creepy Elves. Finally, at number 1, we have a clip of creepy elves who blink and make faces on camera. It's a really big deal because some people think that moving elves are just fake, but facial expressions could never be fake like that. So this clip is one of the biggest proofs that the elves on the shelf are actually alive. So the camera was placed directly in front of the 2 elves, a normal elf and a clown elf. The normal elf was the first to move. It smiled and winked at the camera, but then the clown elf spread its mouth into a wider smile with glowing eyes, and the normal elf looked into the camera to smile again before it moved away from the camera. This is just insane. You have to take a look for yourself. Alright, so to end this video, we have a couple of bonus clips that will teach you useful lessons about being friends with the elves on the shelf. So, according to the rules of the North Pole, kids aren't allowed to touch the elves because it could end up hurting them, and they are super rare. So, kids touching them could lead to the extinction of elves, and then Christmas would basically be ruined forever. This clip shows one guy catching an elf and touching it. You must keep on watching to see how it goes. The baby flying elf. Now we have a clip of a baby flying elf. So this elf is quite cute and even more powerful than the normal elves that we're used to. The guy who recorded him put a secret camera in his living room to record throughout the night, and he ended up catching this cute little elf flying around the room back and forth until it reached the table and noticed the secret camera recording him. So, the elf got scared and turned it off. If you made it this far, you are officially awesome. Thanks for watching.
The stunning ES Hybrid Saloon, Lexus. Experience amazing.
Creativity is in the air.
Like this video and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or this spider will be crawling around your bed while you sleep tonight. 13-year-old boy. For the first clip, we have this 13-year-old boy who decided he wanted to record the elf on the shelf moving. So, he set up a camera pointing directly at the elf sitting on the
Oh my gosh. What do I do?
What you say? That you only meant well, cause you did. What you say? That you only meant well. Salam alaikum, خلوا الفرحة بإيديكم. If you know, then if you Tokyo. If you
Hi everybody, thanks for another crazy month in November. We're at 30.
I'm gonna spend the next 24 hours in this 50-year-old haunted house. We're gonna play hide and seek. Use an Ouija board.
What would happen?